Last time out at Nashville Super Speedway, we saw a crazy tire strategy battle where some teams took 2 and some took 4 tires, and it was close. It was charging late on those 4 fresh tires, but Alexander was able to hang on to get his first win on the season. The points are very tight still, 7 races through, and here tonight is race number 8 on the season already, and it'll be halfway through season 6 of the Powerade Truck Series. What a season has been. We are at Indianapolis Raceway Park for the Indy Race Parts 200 at one of my home race tracks of IRP. What's up everyone, it's your boy Race 97 aka Nathan Stapleton here, and welcome to Indianapolis Raceway Park, and welcome to the Indy Race Parts 200. This is going to be a fascinating race here tonight at IRP. We got a newer version here, and this is going to be a very interesting race for race number 8 on the season already. And what a season has been so far. You have about 2 seconds to tire fall off, and you have a halfway caution with a little bit of a goofy pit road entry. So we have a halfway caution on lap 25 and 50. So we gotta see how this all plays out, and we gotta see if Chris Jericho, who's won at Oswego and Richmond, if he can go 3 for 3 on the short tracks. We got Matthew Hubert back up here in the booth here tonight, and welcome to that halfway point of the season after this one at IRP.
While in terms of Chris Jericho going 3 for 3 on the short tracks, he does have a decent chance of doing it, considering how low Spire is, but there is still some deep competition between Force Sport and Tricon as well. And even watch out for guys like Duncan Ward as well, starting there in the 9th position there, 1 at Pocono. So, along with managing to have his tires for the next 25 laps with 2-second fall off, he does have a good chance. He'll just need to retain position.
Absolutely. I think the big wild card tonight is not really the halfway caution. That's going to be pretty straightforward with pit stops. It's really going to be how these drivers can handle the 2 seconds of fall off. We had 2 seconds last week at Nashville, and that played into some interesting strategy with most of the drivers taking 2 tires and a handful taking 4. And we gotta see, because it's going to be rapid fall off. It's not going to be like Nashville where it's just a little bit slow and slow each lap. It's going to start off just fine after 10 laps or so, then it's going to really fall off. So we got to see how it all goes down. It's Juan Garcia still the point leader with 5 top 10s in the first 7 races. Chris Jericho, red hot as of late, is in second -5, and Emily York Watson, the highest rookie in points, third -7. Logan Williams in fourth -17. Duncan was the Pocono winner in 5th -27. Nicholas Amadeo in 6th -30, with Bo Crown Jr. having a quiet and consistent season. 4 top 10s in the first 7 races, -33. Benny Watson in 8th, -33 as well. And then you got Nick Lopez running in 9th in the point standings, starting 30 here tonight, -36. And Felicity Mendoza, the Watkins Glen winner in 10th, -37. So, point is, this points battle, we might have the top 3 kind of breaking away, but after that, from 4th on back, it is still very, very tight. So we gotta see how it all goes down. How do you think this race is gonna go about, Matthew, with a tire, have a caution, and we might see more passing than we normally do at IRP. So, for all that in mind, how do you think that this one's gonna go for 50 laps?
Well, assuming we don't have the strategy we had in the Wawa Winner Showdown a couple years ago, it does seem that the tire advantage wouldn't really matter unless you really mess up your tires early on in the race. So tire management is basically crucial to stay up front, as well as staying on the bottom line, of course.
Absolutely. You gotta advance with stuff, and you gotta see on what will end up going down here. And it's going to be interesting. Chris Jericho starts on pole, second pole on the season, trying to get a still win on a short track. You got William Ayers, who was pretty good at the short tracks in the Krispy Kreme National Series this year. Starts in the second place spot. Nick Lopez in third, and Avery Alford in fourth. Logan Williams in fifth. Matthew Burnett in sixth with a great qualifying effort. Alexander Roll last week's winner trying to go two in a row. And then you got Hernandez in the number two. And then running out the top 10 is the Pocono winner of Duncan Ward. And the second of two knee struts that start inside the top 10 of Angel Gutierrez. Sam Diaz starts in 12th, Watson in 13th. And then Carlos Miller starts in the back. And then right there in the 20s is Juan Garcia, our point leader. And we gotta see how it all goes down. Abel with a back qualifying one as well. And it will be 50 laps on tap with a halfway caution on lap 25. Who is still picked to win, Matthew, for the halfway point of the season after tonight for the Indy Race Parts 200?
Now, looking at the starting grid there, I think Nick Lopez has a good chance of winning tonight from the third position, as long as he can capitalize on making the 77 there. He should have a good chance.
Definitely like that pit. The Wasup's been a very consistent team. They've had at least two trucks, one up front consistently, and sometimes three, and sometimes all four. So, gotta see if it can work out for Nick Lopez. Won the pole at Richmond at the last short track, and starts in third here tonight. It would be Chris Jericho looking for a still win, and Spy looking for win number 5 and 8. But you got the number 5 truck, William Ayers, alongside in the second place spot. Make sure everyone is rolling, and we are race number 8 on the season. Halfway through after tonight, and it is the Indy Race Parts 200 at Indianapolis Raceway Park, and we're going at IRP. A great jump from Quashirgo, a terrible jump from Nick Lopez, and Avery Alford is going to jump into the second place spot. And this is kind of like what it's been the last few races here in the Powerade Truck Series. A spotter truck gets out front early on and just pulls away massively. Alford to the inside with the 5 truck, got the 5 truck's teammate of Logan Williams right behind him. And Ayers trying to whip that second lane, but it would be Alford in the second place spot now. Logan Williams and William Ayers are battling for third.
And this is going to be a crucial there. Lopez does finally get down to the bottom there, but he's going to get down to fourth now, past Alexander Rowe. And once again, where has Anthony Hernandez come from there in the number 2? Oh, what is this? 3x3x3. They're keeping it clean for now. Thankfully, Juan Garcia got past all of that. Someone spun out there. Who was that?
I have no idea. Everyone's still bunched together. You guys will see that in the corner of the screen. A spin, or maybe just a half spin down the back stretch. And we stay green here. Logan Williams all over the back bumper of Avery Alford. And I'm curious, is the 77 so good on the long one? Well, the short one rather. Maybe might be burning up his stuff. And we got Angel Gutierrez on pit road. The 2 of the 27 and the 22. So multiple trucks on pit lane. I think we found the culprit of what happened down the back switch there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what exactly it was. Might have gone free, might gone wrong. Tough break there for Gutierrez. Not really the start of the season he would have wanted there. And yeah, like you said, the 77 has a massive gap already. About 2 seconds between himself and Alford in the 98s. Now, as long as this run does go through for the second half, it should be clear sailing from there.
I'll catch up to Angel Gutierrez. If Alford's gonna bump and run the 41 up the racetrack, knows that he wants to get past this 41 and The thing is, for Avery Alfred, sure he might be 2 seconds behind, but we will have the halfway caution and momentarily really on lap 25. And pit lane is going to be fairly busy with everyone on track or on pit lane at once, and Avery Alfred could get past the 77, but absolutely gone 3-second lead away. Logan Williams might be able to dive bomb here, not quite. Logan has looked very strong. Plus he's the only other team to have 5 top 10s in the first 7 races, and that's Logan Williams and Juan Garcia. So Logan definitely a threat for this championship with his consistency. And then Ayers, Nick Lopez, Anthony Hernandez seems to be good at these short tracks. He got top 5 at Richmond as well. Alexander Lowe last week's winner in 7th. Nicholas San Dio in 8th. Duncan Wood in 9th. And Felicity Mendoza rounding up the top 10.
Yeah, great run as, just like Richmond, Felicity Mendoza was mired in the midfield for the start, now inside the top 10 there. Some decent progress there for the 32 team with Leonard Koshmer and Felicity Mendoza there. Hernandez getting down to the bottom lane, passed by Rowe, now Samadio, and Ward and Mendoza not too far behind them.
Yeah, this is IRP. The middle lane is where you want to be, but that really extreme outside lane is not working out here tonight as we thought. As I say that same deal, because a good one off turn 4 there to keep that spot. And a 3.5 second lead for Chris Jericho, looking to go 3 for 3 on these short tracks, but gotta see what ends up happening with these older tires at the end of the first one. And I think Logan might be fast on this long one here. 13 laps down, 12 to go till the halfway caution, and Logan looks fast in that 17 truck. So, depending on what happens with pit lane, if he has a faster stop than Jericho, it's going to get interesting in the second half.
Getting by the 77 is one thing, but trying to keep the lead from him on short track nonetheless is going to be a bit more difficult there. And now inside the top 10 is Octavian Speedings. Great to see there from the 15. Really struggling to start to the season there for Octavian Speedings. William Ayers as well. But mainly Octavian Speedings there, development driver to Jordan Edwards.
Not been a good start. He's had, I want to say, the worst bad luck out of everyone. Maybe Angel Gutierrez as well. Last in points, started inside the top 10 and gets taken out early on down the backswitch. So there's been some drivers that have been dominant, and there's been some that have been plagued with the bad luck curse here so far. And I think Avery is not good on the long one here. I mentioned the 2 seconds of fall off, and it really falls off after lap 10 of the 1, so on lap 17. And I honestly think that this 98 is holding up everybody back here. Oh, Duncan into the wall. Might have overshot 1 and 2. And that's going to allow Mendoza to get past them, and Octavian Speedings here in 3 and 4.
Not sure what happened there with the 52 car. Like you said, might have gone a bit too wide there. There's a point here where there's wide and a bit too wide. Juan Garcia going a bit wide as well, but not wide enough to hit the wall. So something might have gone a bit wrong with the setup on the 52.
Yeah, you can run the middle lane and the second lane here, but if you step out a little bit too much, you can easily get into the outside wall. And that might have been what happened to him. And I'm just impressed with the 77. Up to a 5-second lead now, and very impressive stuff from Chris Jericho on these short tracks this season, at Richmond especially, and of course Oswego Dirt is a whole different beast, but we are 6 laps away from the halfway caution, and things are still interesting. You got Alfred, who I think might just be falling off, but Logan Williams looks strong. William Ayers, whoa, is looking good on the long one. He's moving really fast on the long one. I think Avery Alfred has spun up his tires, and that's holding everyone up behind him.
It could be a point there. 2 seconds of tire fall off there, but Alfred might have used up his stuff early on in the race, and that's going to really hold up the 17 and even the 5. And Alexander Rose now catching up to this quartet plus Gutierrez 41. If Logan Williams wants to have a chance to win here, he'll need to get a bit desperate, but not too much.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. We do got that pit stop here in a handful of laps, so you can try and get a better pit stop than the 98 to try and get past him on pit lane. That's going to be interesting with pit lane because it's going to be not everyone, but it's going to be 29 trucks with the lap cars going a lap later, so that's going to be interesting. Logan Williams trying to get past the 98 maybe before the halfway caution. But Jalen goes out here 6-second lead, and that 98 is really holding up these guys. And now Angel Gutierrez on slightly fresher tires is going to try and get past the 17. That might not be good for him here. But we're going to go back up to the 77. Chris Jericho is going to take lap 25. And down the back stretch, we will bring out the yellow for the halfway caution. A dominant first half, a 6-second lead for the 77. And we gotta see what will happen on pit lane. It will be Chris Jericho being the race leader, and it will be the 98, maybe losing second from Logan Williams here off turn number 4. He's gonna keep it though.
Yeah, might have been a bit too late there for Logan to try and make a move there. 41, had Angel made that move around lap 20 or so, there might have been a chance. But now pit cycle is happening, and Chris Jericho has a pretty decent gap to everyone else.
Absolutely, and the 98 tried.
Alfred almost hit the pit one.
Yeah, he tried making up for that gap between the 41, and he about hit the pit wall. I mentioned that it's a little bit goofy, and that is a side effect. If they go too fast, they will hit. So Alpha really played it close there, and we gotta see what will happen on pit lane. These guys will be able to make it. It's about 35 laps on fuel, so they will be good from here. And who will get the fastest pit stop? I would imagine it will be 4 tires for everybody here. Or not. It'll be 2 tires.
2 tires. That's an interesting call. If it's right side tires, then maybe. Lopez seems to be the first one off with 4 tires, and that's really gonna scramble the field up now.
Oh boy. And Caribou's just blew a tire at same pit lane. He cannot make this up. He's another driver that's had a lot of bad luck this season. Oh my
Not just him. McNally Hilgeman as a whole had a lot of disappointing runs besides Stout, and even he's mired in the back.
Yeah, the bright spot ever since the start has been Roboconn Jr. top 10 in points, but even then he's had a rough night here tonight, so this is gonna be interesting. Just like Nashville with the 2 tire call when it's 2 seconds of fall off, everyone took 2 tires. Everyone took 2 tires, so that is gonna be interesting. Let's go ahead and get back to the restart here momentarily at IRP with Jericho dominating early on in the Indy Race Parts 200. Welcome back to IRP for race number 8 on the season. We will both go back green with 21 laps to go next time by after the halfway caution, and we gotta see what ends up happening. If Alpha made some adjustments for maybe the longer one, it's great to say long one for only 21 laps, but after 10 laps that truck definitely fell off. Logan Williams in 3rd, Roll in 4th, Sam Deal in 5th, Mendoza with a good pit stop, same with Nick Lopez, Duncan Ward, Juan Garcia, and Shane Kane on these short tracks once again, kind of like Chris Jericho, is on the move for a top 10 starting position on his restart. This is going to get interesting. Everyone took 2 tires. So we gotta see if how it all goes down. Back wing with 21 laps to go in the Indy Race Parts 200. Great
And we are
restart.
already making a move. Felicity Mendoza getting into the top 5 there. And this is going to be very interesting to see now who has the best long run car.
On 2 old tires. That's the interesting thing as well, because it's one thing to have a long one truck, but you gotta do it on old tires, and that's gonna be very interesting. You got a lot of battles in the back, and once again, these guys cannot get past Avery Alford here. I don't know what this 98 truck is on. They just cannot get past them. There's a lot of passing throughout the field here tonight, but they cannot get past this 98. Obviously had a good pit stop and stayed in the second place spot, but this is allowing Chris Jericho to just pull away massively once again here.
And with how the outside lane here, you'll have to be really careful to not get stuck up there. And with how many trucks there are back behind you, you might lose many positions here. And that's going to be crucial for some of these guys further up in the points, as especially Juan Garcia, he finally got up into the top 10 after starting on the outside lane there.
And this is why I was afraid of. Logan Williams couldn't get past 98. Now Wall, who's been getting better and better all night long, gets past him. And now Logan Williams is going to be stuck on the extreme outside lane. Mendoza having one heck of a night inside of the top 4 now for the 71. Well, not 71, the 32. That's the same one as in third. 16 laps to go. Can Wall be the one to help out everyone and pass this 98 with 15 laps to go at the line? We gotta see. If not, then Jericho is gonna make it 5 for 8 for Spire and make it 3 for 3 on the short tracks here early on this season. 15 to go, and can Wall be the one to pass the 98 of Alfred?
Not entirely sure there. If anything, we'll have to see if the lap cars interfere with these layers up here, especially the 481. Not sure how much damage Angel Gutierrez has particularly, but Felicity Mendoza might have a quick car late in the running, up to the 4th position there for the 32.
And Mendoza peeked to the back bumper of the 71 there and might be faster. I don't think anyone really has a fast enough truck to get past the 98. It looks like Alfred might be a little bit faster this time, but we gotta see how we deal with lap traffic. With it being a single file restart, we are still half a track away from lap traffic, but it's been dominating from the Chris Jericho here this season in the Powerade Truck Series. And shout out to Sam Deal, shout out to Duncan Wood on the move. Definitely a lot of passing throughout the rest of the field, just no one can get past the 98 here tonight. And shout out to Ben Watson in 10th, Shane Kane in 11th, Ryan Dewani in 12th, William Ailes in 13th. Octavian Speed still running inside the top 15 and 14th. And Josh Williamson started deep in the field, and he's now inside the top 15.
Yeah, and Santi Messi right behind him. CR7, not really been that great besides Watkins Glen result there with Williamson there. Moving up into 14th there by Octavian Speedings, and we're now seeing some people moving up by some of these guys. Duncan Ward's now trying to get by Sam Adio for what would be 6. Yeah, that's 6 now for the 52 truck. And Chris Jericho is still dominating. 3.8 seconds between himself and Alfred.
Yeah, no one can get past Avery Alford, and credit for Avery Alford. He's had a up and down season, mostly down so far. He wants a second place one, wants his first top 5, but no one can get past him. But look at these guys. They'll be from second on bat, really. And Duncan Ward's going to pass the 17 and maybe the 32 in one lap. The 52, Duncan Ward is flying late here in the Indy Race Parts 200. Like I said, a lot more passing than what we typically see here. And now Alexander's going to get past the 98 with just 8 laps to go. I think it's going to be too little too late with Chris Jericho having a massive 4-second lead.
Yeah, that's going to be a bit of a tall task for Alexander Rowe to get up to Chris Jericho in similar equipment here. And now we're going to see Ward can't quite get past the 98 of Alford, but now we'll need to see how close Alexander Rowe can get to the 77 truck. But Avery Alford's not really done yet. He's still looking to get by the 71.
And just that last lap, Wall was able to close in 5.6 to 5.0. So he is going to close in, but it's not going to matter at this point. And I know it's good for you, Matthew, but you know, what if the 77 was not leading? We would have a heck of a battle with, say, top 13, 14 trucks for this race win. And definitely a lot of good battlings here late in this race. Here in the Indy Race Parts 200. Been a clean night ever since the early half spin down the backstretch. But it's been typical Spire so far in this Truck Series season. And oh yeah, there's definitely a lot of fall off. So 4 laps to go. Rowe gained another half a second. So he's definitely faster than the 77. But I think Jericho knows that he has a big lead and he's just taking it nice and easy. Because he does not want to catch up with lap traffic. He's about straight away. So, gotta see, 3 laps to go. Jericho knows what happened at Richmond when Rowe was dominating that one. We'll see what happens here with 3 to go.
Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't happen to Chris Jericho there. But, like you said, Chris Jericho on the roll here. Won the National Series Championship, albeit not as dominant as you would probably thought. But this is going to be a great season here. 3 out of 3 for the short tracks. We'll need to see what he does in the last half. And Josh Williamson going down pit road. Not sure what happened there. And here we go. White flag sponsored by Powerade.
Is going to be the white flag. Tough play for Josh Williamson. Was inside the top 15. Maybe enough fuel in, not entirely sure. But for Chris Jericho, he's going to go 3 for 3 on these short tracks. There's only 2 left, I believe, for the rest of the year. And he might just win all 5 of them. Off turn number 4, win number 3 for Chris Jericho. And he will most likely be the new point leader going into the halfway point of the season next week at Chicagoland Speedway. But that try is chaotic in its own right, so we'll see how that one goes. But Jericho, 3rd win on the season on the short tracks, and he's gonna destroy the truck. Guess he don't need it anymore. What a dominating win. Has some extracurricular activity in the back, but what a race. Obviously Jericho dominated, but a lot of passing throughout the entire grid from second on back. And it is going to be win number 3 on the season.
Yeah, and that is a really good sign there. Not sure what happened there between Ward and Alford after the checker flag, maybe. But regardless, it has been a very dominating race from Chris Jericho, leading basically from start to finish there in that 77, showing just how quick the truck is for Spire Motorsports.
And you gotta be happy about that. It's been a very dominating season. 5 wins in the first 8. 3 from Jericho, 1 from Roller, and 1 from Garcia. And I'm gonna stick to it. It's a very competitive Truck Series field besides Spire. So we gotta see what the second half has in store. Jericho with the win, Low in second. Alfred still gets a third place one. Duncan Wood in fourth, he's made some moves late, and he was already fifth in points, so he's gonna gain a little bit. Mendoza in fifth, Logan Williams in sixth, Nick Lopez in seventh, Sam Dio in eighth, Ben Watson in ninth, and Juan Garcia in 10th. A lot of those drivers are up there in the point standings inside the top 10, top 15. So I think we might be seeing some of the better drivers and team combinations really start to come into effect here. Right? Duncan Wood and Jack Haas at Hammer Friesen. Honestly, Tricon, they've been solid. Mendoza's been pretty good. And even Ben Watson, he has been pretty fast for the most part. So, even though Spa's been dominant, Matthew, I think as we get into the second half of the season, if Spa slips up a little bit, there's going to be plenty of drivers and teams that can take advantage of that. And we gotta see how it all goes down. 26 trucks on the lead lap. Hernandez, Abel, Williamson, Wall, Such ride one lap down. Some of them were involved in the early incident down the back, and I think a couple might not have been able to make it on fuel for some reason. Either that or tires. With these guys saying 2 instead of 4. And Angel Gutierrez in last place, the last in points, last place here tonight. Unfortunately, as just starting inside the top 10, 2 laps down. A dominating race halfway through the season, Matthew. But what's the final thoughts here, and how do you think Chicagoland will go next week, race 9 of the season?
I'm not entirely sure what to expect at Chicagoland from basically what I've seen in season 5 of the Cup Series. It could be that, or could go caution free like it was in season 6. Hopefully it's the latter, because I'm not sure if I could handle a chaotic race at that track.
Yeah, that is one of the most bipolar race tracks on the schedule that we go to each season. Like I said, it could easily go caution free, like the last 3 races here in the Truck Series. 3 in a row we've had caution free races. Or that could be a race that makes up for the last 3 races being caution free. So we gotta see of how that one goes down halfway through the season already, and we gotta see of how everything goes down. I believe it is Chicagoland, Las Vegas, Little Springs, and Pikes Peak. A little bit of a West Coast swing after Chicagoland for the next 4th. So some wild card tracks. You got, of course, Pikes Peak. We've never been there before in the Truck Series. Little Springs, that's a crazy road course. Las Vegas, that's a typical mile and a half, and then Chicagoland can be anything. So still a long way to go here in the season. 8 races down, 8 races to go, and there's all Spire so far, 5 out of the first 8. Thanks for joining me up here in the booth at IRP, and congratulations to Chris Jericho on win number 3 on the season, all on short tracks, and we will see you guys next week in the Windy City at Chicagoland Speedway.